Hey there YouTube, today I'm going to show you how to change your lower unit oil in your 1996 Mercury. This one in particular is 115 horsepower 2-stroke. So you'll notice this model has 2 vent holes at the top and then the 1 drain hole at the bottom. Now I'm going to record me doing this, but just for a summary, remove the 2 top vent screws, undo the bottom screw, drain it, then fill from the top until you get to the first empty hole, put that screw in, then keep filling until it comes out the second hole, then put that screw in. Then put the bottom screw in after taking out your fill tool. According to the manual, this should take about 22.5 fluid ounces. And I will show the page from the manual at the end. Alright, so to complete this job, you're going to need something to put the oil into. A flathead screwdriver with a large tip. The pump kit, I got this $10 Shoreline marine one 8 years ago and I'm still using it, so it's pretty good. And then I always use Mercury or Quicksilver products in mine because it's only $5 more per quart compared to generic, and the peace of mind is well worth the $40 every 8 years. You just want to make sure that on the back it says it meets API GL4. This is the bottle I had last year, and this is the one I bought this year. And you're going to need some replacement washers. In all honesty, I don't replace these every single year, but if they look black or pressed down, at least every 2 years though, I replace these. They're about $1 a piece, but the problem is I always forget to order them, so order these if you're watching this video and you haven't started yet. And don't forget the paper towel because this is messy. Okay, so the first step is to get the motor as vertical as possible, which is a good idea in general for winter storage because it lets all the water drain out. I had to dig a little hole here so the skeg didn't hit the ground, but this is because just the way the trailer ended up. I actually had to lower the front of the trailer all the way to the ground because I couldn't get the motor down enough. And this just happens for me because my yard is uneven as heck. Okay, so first undo these 2 top screws and don't lose them. Sometimes they're a little rough to break loose. And here's the old O-ring. You can see that looks pretty good. And sometimes the old O-ring doesn't come out of the hole, so you just gotta play with it. Come on, get out of there. I had to get a dental pick one year because it was really in there, but usually they'll come out. There we go. See, that one's not too bad too. I just replaced these last year. Alright, let's undo the bottom one. So while that's draining, take a look at the screw that comes out the bottom here and check it for excessive shavings on the magnet here. Mine has some metal shavings, but nothing major. Also, this magnet should not come out of this screw. One year this magnet was actually loose, and so when I took the screw out, this magnet just kind of dropped out of it. So I had to order a new plug. It was like $8, but you don't want this magnet to be loose and rattling around in there. And this does take like 15-20 minutes to drain when it's cold. Alright, it's almost done. And if you look at the oil, you can see mine is a little bit cloudy, but I've had it worse and I haven't had major drive failure yet. It's a 24-year-old boat. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. The cause of water getting in here is either a damaged case or a fishing line gets wrapped up in this bearing here. There's like a seal in there, and the fishing line will get wrapped in there and then cause a leak. And note that the holes sometimes turn blue because of the washers, but there is no washer in here. It's just the blue fibers kind of become one with the metal. Screw this onto the bottom. This piece rotates inside of the hose, so just spin it inside the hose. Don't strip it, because it is plastic, and don't twist it too tight and break it off. Alright, so now we pump. You'll see this one says oil level and this one says vent. So you want to pump it until it comes up to the oil level hole, the first one, the forward one. And the slower you go, the less odds of there being air bubbles. Take off my old gasket. Put on my new one. Put that right there so it's ready. Same with the other one. The top two screw holes can use the same size bolt, but the bottom one has got to be the one with the magnet in it. Sorry if this video is too dark. I'll try to lighten it up in post, but I can never start a project until 6 o'clock and it's winter. Oh, there we go. It's coming out this hole. Put that screw back in. Be sure not to cross thread it. Finger tight it first. And then just give it, don't worry too much about how much you tighten it here, just get it snug enough to stop the oil from coming out. And it come out the second hole. It only takes like one more pump after you get it out that first hole. But for some reason there's two holes at the top. I wish there's a Mercury engineer watching that can explain why that is. Most of these only have one hole at the top, so it confused the heck out of me when I had to do this the first time. Okay, now don't pump anymore, and you want to get this unscrewed and then the replacement plug on there as fast as possible. So make sure your hands are clean. Make sure the replacement plug has a gasket on it. Make sure the plug is clean. And this is the fun part. You don't want to lose more than 1 ounce when you take this out. Oh. There we go. Alright, snug that one up. Okay. In the manual it says you want to tighten these to 60 inch-pounds. That's inch-pounds. But I'll be honest, I don't have a torque wrench that small, and I usually just get these mechanic tight. So you don't want to reef on it. You don't want to tighten this down until it breaks, but just, you know, until it's tight enough. But if you're super concerned, you might want to get a torque wrench. If you're strong enough to break one of these bolts with a screwdriver and just your hand, you're pretty strong. But I just get these as tight as I reasonably can. Then go ahead and clean it up. And then take your old oil and you can give it to AutoZone or O'Reilly's or Advanced Auto Parts, whatever you have, and they'll probably take it for you, oil change shops. I've had success with AutoZone, but not a sponsor. Alrighty, and that's how you change your lower unit oil on your 1996 Mercury 115 horsepower 2-stroke.